If you ask me today, like, tell us about your journey, it's just gone so fast and so beautifully through all the ups and downs. Be an empty cup, be teachable, keep your head down, and just like put good work out there.
Yeah.
People have different passions in life, right? Someone's a shoe person, someone's a bag person. Like, I have always been a bag collector. And
if you talk about things which are so 2015 or 2016, when you're in 2023 now, it's not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
Welcome to Voice It with Karishma Shah.
Our next guest is someone very interesting. We have Miss Namrata Karad. She is the founder and owner of Ahikoza luxury handbag brand. A passion for handbags and a very strong entrepreneurial drive led to the inception of Namrata's brand Ahikoza. She loves handbags and she has such a strong passion to be able to culminate her designs into something that every woman, every bride and every girl would love to possess. We had a heart-to-heart with Namrata and understood her journey, all the challenges that she witnessed, her journey from Jakarta, where she was born and brought up, back to India, where she now lives. And we understood so many different dimensions of her brand, herself. Let's understand Ahikoza's brand story through Namrata herself, with a deep heart-to-heart with her. She talks about her different journeys, the different challenges, the different victories, encapsulating all her passions into her brand and her entrepreneurial journey. Let's dive deep and understand her story through her own words. You've lived for so long in how many years did you live in Jakarta?
I was born there. Yeah, I was born there, born and raised, and I did my undergrad in Australia and had short stints in Singapore, and India in between for work as well. And I was living in Bali before I made the final move here, but through and through Southeast Asia.
And what part of Bali were you staying in?
I was staying in a place called Umala, so right behind, it's sort of the residential area of Seminyak, right behind it, the Nook,
Okay. I stayed for 6 months in Ubud.
Beautiful.
I went for my plant-based nutrition course over there.
Yeah. How do you feel about plant-based?
I feel good.
Yeah.
It's good for you, especially when you have diseases. Yeah. Any kind of inflammatory diseases, it's fantastic for you.
Plant-based.
Yeah. The only thing being that I feel like vegetarian is really, really good.
Yeah.
Sometimes people they have a lot of apprehension with dairy.
Okay.
Because it's always going to be in something or the other, right?
Right.
So I feel like the transition should be slow.
Okay.
Not a very enforced one. I could this.
Yeah.
Now I'm a brahmachari for life.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Right.
Take your time. Do one thing at a time. You'll be much more happier yourself also.
Yeah. You got to be patient with yourself.
First of all, I want to know how and what is the meaning behind the name Ahikoza.
The meaning of Ahikoza is second skin, snake skin, actually, in Sanskrit. And we came up with the name because, for me, a handbag is a really staple accessory. It's like your plus one and your second skin. So that's where Ahikoza took its form.
Wow, that's a nice meaning.
Yeah.
I feel like it does kind of also show the essence of how important it is.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned second skin also, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that second skin being, you're so passionate about the work that you do.
Yes.
That is also second nature to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
And the name is really close to my heart. And obviously it, as the brand grew, so did our production process and the kind of materials that we use and stuff. I think second skin still holds really true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you guide us from the time that you started?
Yeah.
Up to now, how has the journey been for you, like step by step?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So I did not have a single minute or inkling of a plan of being a designer at all. You have designers who are like, I always wanted to be a designer and it was a childhood dream. And I think that's amazing to have something so close in your vision board and to see it into fruition, right? For me, pure call of destiny. I was working with my father in a family business in Jakarta, and it was in the coal industry, which is a very bullish market and not, very open to female. I mean, it is, but it had a lot of nuances and such, and net, it wasn't a passion of mine. So I remember sitting at my office at that time and thinking, okay, what do I want to do? And asking myself some really serious questions about life. I was like 25, I believe, right? And I was like, what is my favorite thing? Handbags. And I was like, how can I monetize? I also have a little bit of that Sindhi gene in myself. I do. Yeah. So handbags, right? And I went fully with a business plan, showed it to my dad, and he gave me seed money, investment of $5,000. With Karishma in business is nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
Nothing.
I agree.
And, conservative approach, thinking it's like an arts and crafts project. She's going to get over it in some time and stuff. But no, I took it really seriously. Started my R&D process, and we launched the label in 2016 end. And since then, it's just a lot of connecting of the dots, because if you ask me today, like, tell us about your journey, it's just gone so fast and so beautifully through all the ups and downs, but it's really hard for me to sort of trace back, and it all seems like a big, but I say it's a pure call of destiny, hard work, smart work, for sure. But my brand was birthed in 2017, and now we are at a different, life cycle of the business, where we've onboarded the first investor, and we're looking at onboarding our second, and manufacturing at a much higher yield and capacity. And so it's a very exciting time. But I started extremely small, as I said, from humble beginnings. I remember when I sold my first bag, I was like, oh my God. I know. The thrill. The thrill. And, when something's working is that same thrill is there today. It's the exact same when like a bride tells me, oh my God, I'm like, love my bag. Thank you so much. It's the exact same feeling every time.
Yes.
So lots more to happen, but that's sort of a recap of the journey.
Yeah, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
It just has an essence of, like the kind of love that you have, the passion that you have.
Thank you.
To kind of create something which is so close to you.
Yeah.
And that I'm sure that, it also translates in the brand value as well.
It does, for sure. And I think it's, for me, it's the biggest act of self-love for myself. It's so fulfilling to be able to do something from ground up and prove to yourself that you're independent, that your ideas are valid, that you do not need validation. Lots of things. It's a lot more than a brand. I think it's about the journey. And how it came about.
Yes. So once you did start, and it kind of like took on a life of its own, right?
Yes.
How did you think that, okay, I'm at the stage where, my passion's got a picture now. It's got a life form now.
Right.
What has been the vision since then for the brand itself and for your own personal journey?
I want to be a household name of handbags, and I think there's a lot of logo brands and beautiful brands out there and different cohorts of handbags and stuff. But I think Ahikoza has created a nice niche for itself and a standing in the market. I want to heighten my bridal portfolio. I love working with brides. They're so sweet. And there's just something about, like, they have access to every bag, like your wedding is a one-time, you splurge and stuff. So the fact that they choose my brand to me is a really big compliment. So that's something I want to work on to get better, to internationally expand, of course. I've just moved to India myself and brought my brand with me. So, and also just not having plans. I know that sounds funny, but
I understand.
There's a business plan, and I think milestones and targets and stuff are so important. But I read this really interesting book by Michael Singer called The Surrender Experiment. And somewhere just being an open canvas. I think for me, that's a really good reminder, because somewhere I forgot that.
Yeah.
Somewhere when it started taking shape and a form different to what it was in its inception and earlier days, I realized, wow, I just want to be a free canvas and see also what opportunities come up and let life happen, let things breathe in the brand without having to.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's also that element of playfulness.
Absolutely, Karishma. The best things in my life, both professionally and personally, have come when I'm not looking for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is the kind of, it's the law of nature.
It is. It is.
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
It's not something that, it's just a quote, but it's true.
No, I agree.
And even with work, right? I feel like no matter how ambitious you are and, how much you want to put in your every single thing into something that you're so passionate about.
Yeah.
If it's led by intuition.
Yeah.
And if it's led from a playfulness.
Yeah.
The thing that you said right now, you forgot in the middle, and it happens.
Oh, I did.
It happens with so many of us.
Yeah.
That we start something, and then we started out of love, we started out of passion, out of playfulness,
Right.
and it takes form.
Yeah.
And then we're like, now we're chasing numbers, and now we're chasing so many things, and we forget.
Right.
And then we start realizing that it's not making me happy anymore.
Yeah.
It's not giving me that kind of a joy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You take a step back and you start remembering why you started this, why you
Yeah.
did this. The same thing that you just said right now, and I absolutely resonate.
No, it's a beautiful point. Even in terms of designing, right? I'm not, I mean, I went to fashion school, but that was fashion business, and design was a really small component.
Yes.
But design came very innately for handbags. I just like, I'm able to piece it in my head, vision it over here, and bring it to life, right? But there were times where I would do 3 bags in a year, and all of them would be a commercial success.
Yeah.
By commercial success, I mean that people are buying, people are responding. And there have been times, even 7 months in a row, where I just cannot piece a new design to come forward. And at that point, I realized the best is just to let it be.
Yes.
Don't force anything.
And then that creative urge will come when
Yeah.
you're least expecting it, right? Yes.
Absolutely.
No, I absolutely resonate.
Yeah.
You did mention that you've just come to India.
Yes.
And you did mention earlier, you told me that you know,
Yeah.
you've been born and brought up in Jakarta. And you spent so much of time in the beautiful country of Indonesia.
Yeah.
So how has that journey been? Please tell us about, how that experience, your entire childhood was infused into what you do now.
Oh man, Indonesian girl at heart for sure, but proud Indian. I was born and raised in Jakarta. My father started his career very early on and kind of built his life over there for the last 40 years. He's retired recently in Gurgaon in Delhi, which is how I moved back to India.
Yeah.
And again, life sort of happened. I never planned that I would stay back beyond a certain month or, time period and stuff. Always thinking I would move back to Bali. This was in the heat of a pandemic. And down the line, I met my husband. And life sort of happened. So along with myself moving, I brought my brand along with me.
Yeah.
And Indonesia is a big part of my childhood, of course. I mean, Indonesian was my first language, and the food, the culture, my schooling. So I take back all the beautiful memories and lessons. It's still home, but I have to say Delhi has also been extremely kind to me.
Yeah.
Being an Indian, not having lived in India, there's something very nice about having Indian friends and seeing, your own people. And it sounds corny, but even having your name pronounced correctly, it's really nice. There's something very familiar and heartwarming about it, right? And we've always stayed really close to tradition and our roots. My parents are very cultural in that way and tried to make us connected as best they could. So annual visits and stuff. So India's been a very big part of my life, but living in Delhi as such, I didn't think it would happen. Yeah.
Destiny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And that's fantastic. I'm sure that when you started, from the time that you started and up to now, because you've seen so many transitions, right?
Yeah.
And being a female entrepreneur, it's not about categorizing somebody, but you and I both know that there are challenges over there,
of course.
right?
Yeah.
Going through so many different things, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about some of the, key challenges that you faced, not just as far as, the brand is concerned, but even while you were conceptualizing everything and when you kind of brought everything to life.
Yeah. Being an entrepreneur has a lot of its challenges. You would know that, right? And every entrepreneur out there would know that. But I think trusting yourself and not letting the brand lose its voice is so important, because as you grow and as you scale up, more people come on the table.
Yes.
Now, whether that's as simple as not simple, but website logistics and or third-party vendors or split manufacturing and stuff like that. Somewhere you have to still stay true to your own voice and the brand ethos. So for me, it was the biggest challenge, I would say, is a sweet sort of symphony of letting go, yet still staying true to myself. Because at one point, I couldn't multitask and take all the responsibilities, which I had the luxury of doing it at inception. I used to play a lot of hats, funny story. So in the first month, there would be an email circular that goes out. It's a true story. And it was you'll get a call from a customer representative in 24 hours. And that was me. Yeah. And so the amount of phone calls I have made, I swear to you, I know each one of my clients. And that's a beautiful thing, right?
Yes.
But it's also reached a point where I don't have the luxury to say that anymore. So I think staying true to yourself, and you're going to have a lot of opinions thrown at you from PR companies or, part partners or even in personal spaces from your family and do this, you should do that, you should put a magnet, and always be open to advice. I think you should be teachable.
Yes.
That is my biggest takeaway of this year is be teachable, be open, and be willing to learn. But don't lose that essence of what your brand is and who you are, because at the end of the day, like you said earlier, we were talking about gut and intuition. Your gut is your strongest muscle.
Yes.
If you think something is not working, don't do it for the pressure of hitting a target or hitting a number or getting it on a red carpet where it's not a fit and stuff. These things have an impact, and if you're going for something very long haul and you're building a brand, learn how to trust your gut and make those decisions. I think.
Yes, I think that's beautiful advice.
Yeah.
And it's so important for every single person to be able to do that.
Yeah.
We always have we have a gut instinct.
Yes.
But then we have an anxious voice which is louder in our mind.
Exactly. And somewhere human tendency, we always negate our own ideas, right? As in you have that thing, but no, I don't feel.
Yes.
So it's important. And it takes years. I'm not at a place where I can say I 100% trust but I mean, I've learned to honor that space where I learn how to trust my gut and give it a little more credit.
Yes, no, that's amazing. That's lovely. I think it's so nice that you said this. And in relationship with, do that, and along with that, be humble enough and be nice enough to be able to be teachable.
Karishma, once you get hubris, you start losing. If you if you think you're the next trend, the next designer, the next whatever, let's have a conversation to who was the next something 5 years ago, and you and I can't even name that person, right? So I think be an empty cup, be teachable, keep your head down, and just put good work out there.
Yeah, those are golden words. Thank you for that. Yes.
Of course, yeah.
I also know that with the each design is unique, right?
Yeah.
And you put so much of effort into kind of doing the design, and then we've seen them on red carpets now. We've seen the designs with Bollywood celebrities and everything, right? What's your favorite one? Which one is, if there is one? Okay. I know that all of them might be really, really nice for you, but if there was a favorite one that you had.
It's like asking me your favorite child.
That's the reason I mentioned it before.
I would have to say the Madison, because I built my brand's DNA on it. I think even today it still stands as the coveted signature piece of sculptural art and, that symmetry merging together into design. So I would say the Madison's my favorite.
That's nice. Nice. Thank you for that as well.
Yeah.
You have this thing wherein you did say that I don't want to plan too much, or we don't have a plan like that.
Yeah.
But with the changing times, with everything becoming very ecological, sustainable, and everything, and Ahikoza being a very sustainable luxurious brand, right?
Right.
So, what are the just immediate next plans as far as any kind of new launches or any kind of new newses that are there?
I'll tell you what, that's really interesting. I started Ahikoza, and I'm going to be completely honest, right, with very select materials, snakeskin being a part of it. But through the process, I mean, I wasn't who I was in 2015, and that's called growth, right? That's called evolvement. And as I grew as a person and had different values, different, experiences and stuff, my brand grew accordingly as well and started experiencing in different leathers and stuff. So recently I've experienced a lot of people requesting for bespoke, meaning I love the design, but I don't wear traditional leather. Could you do it in a velvet?
Yes.
Or could you do it in a mushroom leather, a vegan? The requests are, as great and as random as they come. But to me, the fact that it's a design-based request is amazing, right? It challenges me as an entrepreneur, a designer. So I think you'll see a lot of that in the forefront, is a lot more sustainable leathers we can look into, and doing that at a price offering, which is nice for the clientele and give them that bespoke experience without having to break the bank, but just experience it at a brand level.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
And having said that, it's really important because the kind of times that we're moving into now, right?
Yeah.
Having capsule collections or having bestsellers is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I do feel like from a consumer perspective, we're entering the age of personalization.
Yes.
And it's so nice that you've kind of already got the feel of it, and you're going to you're going to make things which are very personalized for people in whatever it is that they believe in or whatever it is that they like.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of fun as well, right?
Yeah,
to be able
for
to explore
sure.
new things. And you said you love the whole new bride experience, right?
I love the bride experience. I think it's so sweet, and it's just nice to give them that emotional support. So one day in their life where they get to, and they're supposed to feel the most supported, the most beautiful, And for me, like, people have different passions in life, right? Someone's a shoe person, someone's a bag person. Like, I have always been a bag collector and like enthusiast for handbags, even at times when I was not in the position to buy them, when I was younger and stuff like that. But I had a deep appreciation of it. So when I work with the bride, like, I'll really get into like the lining color and like, don't do this, and it should be mileage, and what's your lehenga like. So that's really nice for me.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's also really nice that, you take care. That's what a bride would want. Someone's taking care. They can have that eye for detail.
Yeah.
And there's also a lot of pampering going on in the process. It's so personal.
Yeah.
And that's lovely. That's amazing.
Thank you.
All the best for, the new season as well, when you start doing all these things, right?
Thank you so much.
With the personalization.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Namrata, I want to ask you this thing. We come from you mentioned when you started and you have this love for bags, right?
Yeah.
It's something that makes you happy.
Yeah.
I've, in all the experience that I've had in working with people on a one-to-one basis, right? Happiness, wellness, self-care, and self-satisfaction are at the core.
Right.
If you have that, you're full of health.
Right.
Beautiful. Diseases don't really touch you so much.
Yeah.
There'll be one or two things on and off, but then you're going to be in your sanctity.
Aligned. Right. Yeah.
What is it that, makes you feel that in today's day and time, while a woman is making herself a priority, right? Doing any kind of investment or any kind of, an personal shopping experience or just investing. It could be anything. We're talking about bags right now, but it could be a massage. It could be shoes. It could be, a holiday that I really wanted to do a solo trip, How important, I want to know it from, because I always say this, and I would really like to know from a fellow, female entrepreneur and an enthusiast.
Yeah.
How much priority would you personally give it? How much would you advise for women to invest in that thing that, kind of makes them happy, gives you that kind of a satisfaction, no matter what thing it is?
I think, look, it's very personal what luxury or what that splurge expense would be to an individual, right? Yeah. And it could, like you said, be a luxurious holiday, a massage, or a handbag or a luxury product and stuff. But as long as it gives you that sense of fulfillment, I've earned it and I'm able to, and I think go for it. I think life is short. Don't do it. Do it for yourself. Don't do it for anyone else. But I think giving yourself those gifts and stuff adds a really nice fuel of motivation, of, goal setting and stuff like that. And it's just a self-love language, right?
Yes.
I mean, I told my husband the other day, it's very interesting you brought that up, okay? So I've had a habit for a very, very long time. I go through these periods where I collect for a certain bag that I'm looking for, and stuff like that. And my husband, very generous and kind of him, is like, I'll just buy it for you. And he's like, no, but you're missing the point.
Yes.
It's not that. It's that whole thing of like, I bought it for myself. And, it might take me a little while and stuff. I've been doing it since I was 16 years old. Funny story with you, for you. When I bought my first handbag, I was very young. I was in Indonesia, and it was, my father bought it for me and stuff. And it was out of his generosity, but we don't really come from a family where we indulge or spoil or, whatever and stuff. Love was there, like nice things were around us and stuff like that. But there was also an awareness of what things are and, stuff like that. So I saw a Chanel bag when I was in college in Australia. And at the time, this is some time back, it was like $4,500, you know. So I don't know what I was thinking. I thought my dad would buy it for me. And I called him and I was like, I really like this bag. He's like, I'm not going to keep it, but no. He's like, buy gold and, typical answers and stuff.
Yes.
He was really smart. He's like, I'll tell you what, if you earn half, I will match you. And that's when I got my first job ever in Hugo Boss Australia. And, Australia pays well in retail, and especially as a college kid, and stuff. But I actually earned the money in about like 2 months, I think. And I remember that phone call to my father saying, okay, I made the money. And he was just like, what do you made the money? Like, all for love of a handbag is so preposterous to him, right? But that whole thing of you earned it for yourself. It's your sweat. It's your hard work. And this like beauty, it has a story, right? Every time you carry it and stuff. So I was setting up my closet at now my, marital household, and I was like doing my handbags. Like, I'm not kidding. Each one had a different story, whether it was gifted, whether it was bought. But so I think do it for yourself and like just give yourself that.
That was beautiful. The answer was much more than I expected. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I think it does have so much of a connection over there as well.
Yeah.
It's not just about, splurging or indulging, but that was lovely. Thank you for that insight as well. Namrata, tell us this thing wherein, you are very passionate about, your work, the brand as well.
Yeah.
Right? How much time do you give for your own well-being? I know that you love, doing meditation.
Yeah.
I know you love eating Indian food.
Yeah.
And I do know that you love eating, sushi and Japanese food as well, right?
Yeah.
But do tell us some of your, rituals that you do for yourself, which really help you go through the whole day and be at your productive best for Ahikoza.
For Ahikoza, and I think for life in general, right? You said something, we were talking off camera about happiness and stuff. And I believe when you're happy yourself, it's the best gift you can give to the other person. When you're full and you're performing and you're happy, it's just nice for the other person, whether it's your family, your work associates and stuff, right? So it's a responsibility you should take in charge of your own happiness.
Yes.
And that's the biggest thing I've learned the last 10 years, which I grew into my sort of meditation journey in 2015. And it just sort of grew and grew and grew and grew. And now it's like brushing your teeth. I can't imagine a day without it. And it doesn't have to be for 1 hour. There's some meditations which last only 5 minutes, some which last more than an hour. There's no such thing as a bad meditation. This I promise you. And so when I come into that place of center, what happens is I feel less pressure and less anxiety with everything that the day has. Ahikoza, home, responsibilities and stuff. And I'm able to categorize it in my head before I
Yes, that's beautiful. And if you're centered yourself, the only thing that you will radiate is that calmness.
Absolutely, because even anger, and when you're angry, and this is very true, it's very self-reflective for me as well. Like when I'm angry, what you're really saying is you're angry at yourself. There's something wrong. There's something not processed within yourself, right? So I think getting rid of all those twinges of life's thorns, which we all have from our childhood or from experiences and stuff, focus on that, because we all have them. And if you're saying you don't, then you have the most.
I agree.
Yeah,
absolutely. Underlined. I agree. Yes, that's beautiful. You've already said all these really, really insightful and such beautiful words of wisdom, right, for everyone who's listening also, but I'm sure that, with everything gone by, there must be some life lessons that you learned yourself. And we have so many young people these days, the people who tune in, or it's just a general audience. They want to start something. They have a passion that they haven't explored yet, or maybe they're afraid of doing something, right? So you, as a successful entrepreneur so far, having believed in your journey yourself, and being the iron lady that you are, right? Please tell us some of the life lessons and how it could help somebody else.
Look, I don't think I'm in a position to give life lessons, but I do feel like I have a lot to share from my journey, should that inspire someone and stuff. And don't be afraid to start small. I think we're in such a informative heavy culture where it seems like with the Instagram and everything, everyone's doing really well, and everyone got where they're at. It takes 10 years to look like an overnight success. Believe you me, there's a lot of hard work behind it, and somewhere someone started maybe a little more funding than expected, or maybe a little less, but don't be afraid to start with something small. And I'm a true testament of that, and more than that, trust yourself. yourself. I think too many opinions drown the idea, and you'll always hear it from your closest people. It's just the law of nature. Not that they mean bad, but I think they feel they're in a position to tell you, whether that's family or close friends. There's this book called The Startup of You. And I forget the author's name, but he gives a really good analogy, right? He's like, when you're trying to start something new, imagine like a Polaroid camera, right? You click a picture and all your past, like family and stuff, have that version of you. And you're so ready to outgrow that version, but they have an imprint, right? Don't be afraid of that imprint and just take the leap, because the kind of lessons and the fulfillment and the mistakes and the tears, and when you finally see it out there and performing and everything, the fulfillment is unparalleled.
Yes.
And you would know. You would know. You can't compare anything to it. It's very different.
Yes, it is the highest amount of resistance. It's so true that you mentioned it. I just kind of realized in this whole conversation, you ended up saying so many things that I truly do feel.
Because it's scary, right? It's suddenly Karishma, the entrepreneur. Karishma, we all have different roles in our life. First daughter, then mother, then wife, then whatever. But it's scary stuff, putting yourself out there. And
we would feel that resistance because they've never seen us doing those things.
Yes, exactly.
Like I do remember my dad, he ended up seeing one of my videos one day, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to talk like this at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to speak. He's my dad.
Of course.
And I'm going to have a very casual conversation in my mother tongue with him, right?
Right.
And he saw the video and, like my mom, and he said, I can't believe that, Karishma is talking like this. and my mom's like, yeah, she does.
Yeah.
And, it's just this thing where it's not familiar for them.
Yeah.
And to see that different dimension.
Right.
Because we all have, I just disagree with the aspect that we are one-dimensional, two-dimensional.
No, I don't believe in it at all. And what a sad life if you're only I think it's endless possibilities. I think with every role you keep changing. Like you said, it's Karishma, the entrepreneur, mother, daughter. It's so many things that are coming to fruition and things that have been, things are going to be and stuff. But you should always keep evolving. And one of my investors actually, she said that very nicely. She's like, you should always just keep evolving to the next better version of yourself. And that's what life's about. Who wants to be version 2015? That's just, you have to keep,
Yes.
Yeah.
It also limits growth.
Yeah.
As far as, even business is concerned. Or your personal development is concerned.
Absolutely.
If you talk about things which are so 2015 or 2016 when you're in 2023 now, it's not relevant anymore.
Yeah.
We've evolved. There's so much things, and at the pace at which we're going right now, with technology, with everything.
Yeah.
So, what you just said, evolution, living in that moment and learning new things, being teachable all the time, right? And just evolving with time. It just gives that much kind of momentum into our
absolutely. And then looking at your old version, and being like, wow, I was able to achieve that.
Yes,
that's amazing, right? To be able to kind of be like, I can't believe that was me or whatever, which everyone goes through, by the way, everyone, but just some have different dips and.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Namrata.
Thank you as well.
It was amazing to, as I said, while I was having the conversation with you, I did kind of realize that we're so similar in so many things. And there's so many things that, you said that I resonate with.
And no, it's funny because we haven't stopped speaking on and off camera since the minute we... So, but no, thank you so much for the opportunity. I hope that added value to your, audience and stuff. And I know one takeaway that I have a friend from this. And no, I loved being on your channel. Thank you.
I do feel that, with the brand itself, right?
Yeah.
I always say this, and it's one of the reasons why I started Voice It.
Yeah.
And I would like to tell you this as well.
Yeah.
That I do believe that a brand is not a brand, it's actually the people behind it.
Thank you. Yeah.
And the kind of success that we've seen with Ahikoza and the much more higher voltage of success that we will see ahead with it, right?
Yeah.
I do believe is stemming from the kind of, powerhouse energy that you have within yourself. It's this undying nature, it's this undying energy that we have that, no matter what happens, I will never accept no for an answer.
Yeah.
I will never stop where you think I should stop, because I've not kept a limit for myself.
Yeah.
I am limitless. I am eternity within myself. you know? And I feel
I will cry, but I am limitless.
yes,
Absolutely.
Yes, I will have my days where I will break down emotionally, but it does not conquer the spirit that I have within me.
Right.
You know, and I feel like with that kind of, I just mentioned powerhouse energy within you. It just gives us this vision as to, how well you will be taking the brand ahead and how well you will be taking your own personal development ahead, right?
Oh, thank you, Karishma.
So
and
it was
all
amazing.
the same to you. I know you have some amazing things in the pipeline, and I'm wishing you all the success, luck on luck, and everything.
Thank you. This has been amazing, Namrata. Thank you so much.
Thank you.